Today I'm in an MMA dojo. Yes, that is me 6 years ago calling an MMA gym an MMA dojo. And what happened that day next? Changed my life completely. And this is the story of how it all began. At the time I was running a professional Aikido dojo, which actually I opened when I was only 22 years old. At that moment everyone was surprised, like, how did you do it so young? But when people spoke about that to me, I didn't understand what they're talking about because I thought that's a natural thing. Now when I'm 33 years old and I'm looking back, I realize, whoa dude, 22-year-olds don't do that normally. But the fact is that I did. And that's because prior to that I worked my ass off. I lived in a martial arts school for 3 years. I trained 14 days per week. But that is a story for another day. The reason why I initially decided to film the now legendary Aikido versus MMA video, it's because first of all, I was already running the third biggest YouTube Aikido channel in the world, to a degree that I even got invited to teach international seminars. But when I was putting out my Aikido tutorials online, I would often see comments from Aikido people telling, oh, you're holding the wrist wrong. Oh, your foot is at a 64-degree angle and not 65. You should be using your pinky here more. I was getting all of these crazy comments about these tiny minuscule details, which personally I knew that don't matter because at the time I already realized Aikido is not such a great martial art for self-defense or fighting. I still didn't think that it's completely hopeless. But I was thinking, if Aikido techniques pretty much don't work at all, why are we in conflict about these small details that won't make a big enough difference anyway? But then I realized that while I understand that Aikido is not great for fighting or for self-defense, most Aikido people think that it would work brilliantly. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna prove once and for all that it doesn't work so great. And I'm going to end the debate about Aikido's effectiveness once and for all. And that's exactly what I said at the beginning of the video. There's so many talks about Aikido being bullshito. Nobody's out there to prove it. And I decided to sacrifice a bit of myself and actually to see how it works. A lot of people ask me if I wasn't concerned about my reputation filming the video, but the truth and showing the truth was so important that I didn't even care about my reputation. I thought, you know what, my students will understand, and those who don't, them. The truth was simply more important to me. But when I decided to film the video, I didn't even have a clue of how I'm going to pull that off. First of all, I didn't personally know even a single MMA fighter. Secondly, in my Aikido community, I was convinced that all MMA fighters are meatheads, that they're nasty, brutal, bloodthirsty animals, and that if I will ever have to do anything with one of them, I will get beaten to a pulp. Yep, I was ready to take the risk, but still I thought I need to find an MMA fighter that would agree to beat me up in front of the camera. But ideally I wanted to find at least someone decent who wouldn't kill me. So my first idea was to ask my girlfriend, who at the time was teaching yoga at an MMA gym, or should I say MMA dojo now. I asked her if there's an MMA fighter who's capable, but also who's somewhat of a nice guy. So she went to the gym there and asked the guys, and in order to convince them to film with me, I asked her to tell them that this video is going to be a good promotion for them. Now their reaction was, they laughed. Not only because they thought that this is a crazy idea, but also because they thought that this video is not going to reach many people at all. Today, by the way, the video has over 4 million views. But that aside, my girlfriend did find an MMA fighter who was capable and a pretty nice guy. And that guy was Tadas. And he was a pretty capable guy. I mean, listen to his bio.
He had about 20 fights, 40 in MMA and 6 in K1 and Muay Thai.
Yet when I got his number and called him, initially he didn't want to do it because he didn't understand why would I ever want to do such a thing. So he knew he will kick my ass, but he didn't understand why do I want to show that on video. I kept trying to explain to him that this is for a matter of greater good, but he still just couldn't get it. And the nice guy that he is, he just didn't want to do it for my sake. But still, I was committed to get him on board. So I invited him over for a coffee, and for a whole hour, I was convincing him that this is worth doing. Finally, at the end of the meeting, he told me, okay, Rokas, I still don't get it. Why would you want to do this? But I see you really want to do it, so okay, I'm on board. Let's do it. So I'm happy, I'm ecstatic, until the moment I need to go to the MMA gym. And then I'm preparing my stuff, and I'm thinking, man, I'm probably gonna lose a couple of teeth. I'm probably coming out with a black eye. I was expecting to get destroyed, and I accepted the fact that it's gonna happen. I was okay with it, but then I was still stressed as hell. Nevertheless, I had no doubt. So eventually I went in there, I filmed my beautiful intro with my beautiful Aikido outfit, and then I was ready to enter the ring with Tadas. Tadas had only one pair of MMA gloves, so he gave that to me. He took regular gloves, so that gives him a disadvantage, but I don't think that's gonna be trouble for him, honestly, so There we go. By the way, many people think that pulling off Aikido with gloves is much harder. Personally, that never bothered me once I started learning to do it. But that was not the case yet. Now, do take note, this was my first ever time in a ring, yet alone sparring an MMA fighter. I don't think I even knew I had to touch gloves before sparring begins. And I already said, I did not expect my Aikido to work great. But I still had hopes that at least I will do something. And the fact is that I didn't. Tadas was very cool about it though. He went really easy on me and he even gave me opportunities to try to pull off my Aikido, which still didn't work. But that already made me start questioning, maybe that whole narrative of MMA fighters being meatheads is just a myth. But then it was time to reveal the video to the world. Now again, I had zero hesitations to do it, but I thought, everyone is going to hate me. I thought Aikido people are going to hate me because I proved Aikido doesn't work. And I thought the MMA people are going to laugh at me because I failed and performed so miserably. Turns out I was only half right. 90% of Aikido people did hate me. But I was surprised that they didn't see this as the ultimate proof that Aikido doesn't work. But I also thought that they will admit that something is wrong with Aikido. Instead, even though I trained Aikido for 13 years, I was a live-in student for 3 of them, and I trained with some of the top instructors in the world and got their approval, all the Aikido people blamed me for failing and saying that I sucked and my Aikido sucked, but it was not Aikido's fault. So that caught me off guard. The international seminars that I was invited to teach were also canceled for reasons they couldn't explain. And a few Aikido people who did pressure test their martial art were supportive, but what surprised me the most was that the MMA people not only did not make fun of me, they actually loved the video. At the time of the making, I didn't even realize this video was special. But then I started receiving messages that various well-known martial artists and some champions of the world were sharing my video and saying that this is a great example of showing honesty in martial arts. And I did not expect that whatsoever. Yet little did I know that from that moment, my life will change completely.
You have to put a lot of pressure on the joint.
I decided to spar with Tadas again in a year, so the clock was ticking.
Go for the wrist, get the takedown.
Not even a single person in my organization understood what I'm doing, and I consider these people my family. I'm here with Tadas again.